Cinematic image prompts, scene aligned, consistent details. Scene 1, the frontier void. A Dominion patrol ship detects an impossible fleet emerging from hyperspace. Visual prompt. A vast, dark expanse of space lit by faint nebula light. The Helith Dominion patrol ship Vratel, an organic, insectoid vessel with pulsing bioluminescent lines, floats in eerie stillness. In the distance, space folds open like torn fabric, revealing sleek, matte-black human warships with red running lights and the insignia of a blue Earth sphere crossed by a white sword. Atmosphere tense, lighting cinematic with cold blue and deep crimson hues, tone ominous and mythic. 16:9, ultra-detailed, realistic cinematic style. Scene 2, aboard the Terran flagship, TDS Vengeance. Admiral Reza Kale stands before his returning fleet. Visual prompt. Interior of a massive human warship bridge, sleek metallic design, cool blue lighting, holographic tactical maps glowing in the air. Admiral Reza Kale, late 30s, dark hair with silver streaks, sharp gray eyes, wearing a battle-worn black jacket with an Old Earth insignia on the shoulder. Officers in dark armored uniforms operate consoles. Stars shimmer beyond the reinforced viewport. Expression calm, yet determined. Cinematic lighting with silver and blue reflections. Ultra-realistic, 16:9 aspect ratio. Scene 3, Dominion Command Citadel, Helith Prime. Arch-Consul Varix learns of humanity's return. Visual prompt. An immense alien command chamber carved from black crystal and metal, illuminated by holographic projections of star maps. Arch-Consul Varix, tall insectoid alien with obsidian skin and crystalline armor, stands before the projection, his many eyes glowing red. Subordinates bow behind him. Atmosphere heavy with dread and disbelief. Lighting high contrast, glowing reflections, tone imperial and foreboding, cinematic realism. 16:9. From They thought humans were legends, then their dangerous battleships appeared. Scene 1, the first strike. Space burned. The Dominion fleet's shimmering crescent of organic cruisers surged forward, launching plasma volleys that painted the void in streaks of molten green. But the human ships didn't scatter. They advanced. Admiral Reza Kale watched as the Vengeance's main batteries synchronized, 6 spinal cannons locking in formation. Each beam ignited in cold, blinding white fire. The first volley tore through the lead enemy dreadnought, its bioarmor peeling like molten glass. The shockwave lit Kale's command deck in brilliant flashes. Direct hit, Commander Imani confirmed. Target 2. Already locked, Admiral. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy saw human weapons, precise, terrifying, and merciless. Scene 2, the Dominions fall back. On board the Helith carrier Krovthuin, panic spread through command channels. Alien officers screamed across comms as human ships moved faster than their tracking arrays could follow. They're using ancient propulsion signatures, quantum drives, no, impossible, one technician shrieked. From the flagship, Varix watched the live combat feed, his mandibles twitching in fury. Why do they fight like this? Efficiently, my lord, his aide whispered. Every strike cripples. They don't disable, they erase. The screen flickered as another Dominion ship detonated, sending debris spiraling into the black. Find their home system, Varix snarled. If the humans have returned, we will strike them before they root. But deep inside, for the first time, he felt something he didn't understand. Fear. Scene 3. Human Command Briefing. In the war room aboard the Vengeance, blue holographic grids rotated above a circular table. The Terran officers gathered, armor dull and scarred. Dominion reinforcements will arrive within 30 hours, said Imani. They think we're ghosts, replied Lieutenant Merrick with a smirk. Let's show them ghosts bite. Kale studied the map, enemy vectors, resource routes, relay stations. Every Dominion hub connected through the Sigma Nexus, a massive communication relay world. If we cut their nexus, Kale said quietly, we blind their empire. He looked up. Prepare Operation Eclipse. Every officer saluted silently. The war that humanity had been forced to flee would now burn its way back. Scene 4. Memory of Earth. Later, Kale stood alone at the viewport, Earth's holographic emblem spinning slowly before him, a simple blue planet, far away, yet always near. He remembered the old transmission from his grandmother, preserved from before the fall. If we are forgotten, then we will become legend. And if we are legend, we will return. Kale's jaw tightened. We're not legends anymore. Outside, the human fleet drifted in silent, perfect formation, their engines pulsing like a single, living heart. The fire of humanity's return had been lit, and it would not go out. They thought humans were legends, then their dangerous battleships appeared. Scene 1. Approach to Sigma Nexus. The Sigma Nexus was not a world, it was a machine. A planet-sized communication hub wrapped in steel rings and humming energy fields, broadcasting across half the known galaxy. To most empires, it was the heart of order. To the Terrans, it was the target. Aboard the TDS Vengeance, Admiral Reza Kale stood before the tactical map, its holographic lines bathing his face in blue. The fleet drifted in high stealth orbit, just beyond the detection grid. Nexus defense grid pattern stable, said Commander Imani. No indication they know we're here. They will, Kale murmured. Once we start cutting. He turned toward the comm array. All ships, this is Kale. Phase 1 of Operation Eclipse is a go. Make it silent. Make it surgical. The order spread through the fleet like a whisper across stars. Scene 2. The Infiltration Strike. 3 Terran stealth cruisers, Spectre, Wraith, and Echo, descended through the thin upper atmosphere. Cloaked and silent, they moved through electromagnetic storms that lit their hulls in brief flashes of violet. Inside the Spectre, Captain Marin adjusted his visor. We breached the relay rings in 30 seconds, he said. No mistakes. This isn't conquest, it's blindness. The cruisers locked into attack formation. With surgical precision, they released quantum spike torpedoes, silent, needle-shaped weapons that pierced through the relay's outer structure and detonated inside its data conduits. From orbit, it looked like the world itself went dark. The Dominion's communications across 1,000 sectors blinked out in unison. Scene 3. The Dominion's realization. Arch-Consul Varix stared at the empty holographic grid, his own image flickering. Report, he bellowed. We've lost connection to Sigma Nexus, my lord. Impossible. The aide's voice trembled. It's gone offline. No signals in or out. Entire sectors are silent. Varix slammed his clawed hand into the console. Find me that fleet. But no fleet could be found. The humans had vanished, leaving only the corpse of his communication empire behind. For the first time in millennia, the Helith Dominion was deaf. Scene 4. The Terran Revelation. Back aboard the Vengeance, the crew watched as entire sectors of the galactic map turned black. Dominion patrols, fleets, and command worlds, all blind, isolated, and confused. Phase 1 complete, Imani said softly. They can't coordinate. Good, Kale replied. Now they'll learn what fear really sounds like. He tapped the hologram. A red marker pulsed over the Dominion capital world. Phase 2, Spear of Dawn. He looked at his crew, eyes steady. The galaxy forgot us. Let's remind them why they shouldn't have. Outside, the fleet's engines roared to life, burning crimson against the black. Humanity's shadow moved once more, not as ghosts, but as the architects of retribution. Scene 1. The Gathering Storm. The Terran fleet drifted beyond the nebular veil of Sarni's reach, engines silent, hulls absorbing the light of nearby stars. From the bridge of the TDS Vengeance, Admiral Reza Kale studied the holographic projection of Helith Prime, the Dominion's glittering capital world, surrounded by concentric defense rings and orbital fortresses. 60 orbital cannons, 20 defense fleets, and atmospheric shields thicker than a carrier's hull, Commander Imani recited. And one arch-consul who still thinks we're myths, Kale replied. He turned toward his crew. We strike at dawn cycle. Once we breach orbit, no retreat. Humanity ends this war today, or becomes legend again. A low murmur of acknowledgement rolled across the deck. The crew didn't cheer. They didn't need to. Every face carried the same iron focus, a promise. Outside, the human fleet began to move. Scene 2. The invasion begins. The first wave of Terran dreadnoughts surged forward, engines flaring crimson. Enemy defense arrays awoke instantly, hurling plasma spears and antimatter bursts into the void. But the humans came prepared. Deploy shield harmonics. Imani barked. Weapons live. Kale watched as the Vengeance's forward cannons charged. 6 white beams flared, carving holes through the Dominion's orbital ring stations. Explosions cascaded across the horizon like falling stars. Status: 2 defense rings neutralized. Enemy formations fracturing. Kale nodded. Then pushed through. They'll never expect us to go down. The fleet accelerated, diving straight into Helith Prime's upper atmosphere. Scene 3. Surface firestorm. The capital world burned. Terran landing craft streaked through clouds of plasma and smoke, dropping armored divisions into the heart of the Dominion's capital city, Varithra. Towering alien spires crumbled as shockwaves tore through the skyline. Inside the chaos, Dominion soldiers fought desperately, chitin armor melting under the precision fire of human railguns. "Advance by sectors," shouted Major Lin from the ground command channel. "We're cutting through faster than expected." Above them, the Vengeance descended low enough for its shadow to stretch across the entire city. Kale's voice echoed through the calm grid. "No unnecessary slaughter. Strike, disable, and move. We're not here to exterminate. We're here to remind them." Even amidst destruction, there was purpose. Scene 4. The Duel of Wills. Deep within the shattered Helith citadel, Arch-Consul Varix stood amid burning debris as the roof gave way to the firelit sky. Admiral Reza Kale entered through the fractured wall, flanked by Terran guards in black armor. Smoke and light framed the 2 leaders, human and alien, past and present. "You," Varix hissed. "The myths. The mistakes." "No," Kale said evenly. "The reminder." Varix raised a weapon of crystalline energy, but Kale didn't flinch. "Your empire thrived on fear," Kale continued. "Now you'll live under it." He turned, signaling his troops. "Secure the citadel. End the broadcasts." The human insignia, the blue earth sphere crossed by a white sword, flickered across every surviving Dominion screen. The galaxy saw it and understood. The Terrans had returned. Scene 1. After the fall. Helith Prime was silent. Smoke coiled across the ruins of its once glittering citadel. Orbital debris burned in streaks across the atmosphere like falling stars. The war was over, swift, precise, and absolute. Aboard the TDS Vengeance, Admiral Reza Kale stood at the viewport, staring down at the world below. The reflections of fire flickered across his gray eyes. "Transmission from the Dominion remnants, sir," said Commander Imani. "They're requesting terms." "Terms?" Kale replied. "There are no terms. Only remembrance." He turned from the viewport. "Send this message to every open frequency. Every world, every ship, every empire still listening." Scene 2. The broadcast. The fleet's communications grid ignited, sending Kale's voice across the galaxy, carried on every wavelength, every relay once controlled by the Dominion. "This is Admiral Reza Kale of the Terran Defense Vanguard. Centuries ago, you erased our worlds, burned our skies, and declared humanity extinct. You were wrong. Across thousands of worlds, alien leaders, soldiers, and civilians looked up as holograms flickered into existence, showing the Terran fleet floating over Helith Prime. We did not vanish. We learned. We rebuilt. And now, we return not for conquest, but for balance. Humanity is not your enemy. But remember this, if you ever come for us again the next time, you won't even see us coming." Then the transmission ended, not with a threat, but with silence. And in that silence, the galaxy remembered fear. Scene 3. The Monument of Return. Weeks later, the Terrans built a monument on the surface of Helith Prime. A towering obsidian spire, capped with a white sword embedded through a blue crystal globe, Earth's insignia. Kale stood before it, flanked by human soldiers in black armor. The Dominion survivors watched quietly from a distance, unarmed, humbled. "We don't erase history," Kale said softly. "We leave it standing as a warning." Imani nodded beside him. "Do you think they'll ever come for us again?" "No," Kale said, turning to face the sky. "Because now they know we never left." Above, the Terran fleet broke formation and began its long journey home, their engines like red stars fading into the void. Scene 4, Epilogue. The Whisper Among Stars. Decades later, in a distant academy orbiting a tranquil moon, young alien cadets listened to a story whispered by their instructor. Once, there was a species, so fierce they burned empires to ash, and so patient they vanished into silence. A student raised a trembling hand. "Are they real, instructor?" "The humans?" The instructor hesitated. Then, looking out the window at the stars, he smiled faintly. "Real enough to make the stars remember." Far beyond the academy, a faint signal pulsed across the dark, an ancient Terran transmission repeating endlessly through time. "We were never gone.